Hello everyone, and welcome to this quick tutorial video where I'll talk about the starter application called IT Asset Management. So if you need help importing this application to your environment, then please watch the first video, the introduction video, where I show you how to carry out the import. Mine is already imported, so let's dig in. First of all, you will notice that this is an application that uses a dictionary process. In this case, it is for registering various asset types, which will be available from a drop-down when you are creating a new asset to use in this application. So let's take a peek what it looks like. Start workflow in process. And the idea is that I have this small form with 3 different form fields, and I fill it out, and then these values will be available from the drop-down asset type picker. I also have a report called dictionaries for viewing these values. I've added some of these, so you can begin by using the application. You can start, the first thing that you can do is register various asset types. Okay, but let's get to the actual main part of this application, this second process called IT Asset Management, same as the application. It is made up of 3 workflows that interplay with one another. So the first one of these is called Asset Lifecycle. The idea here is that you use it to, first of all, register an asset, so you create an asset within the system. Among other things, on this first step, you select the asset type from the dictionary, and then once this instance is created, which represents an asset, it will reside in this asset available system step. And from there, once the instance is in this step, you can then assign it to different users, and if it is assigned to someone, it will be moved automatically to the asset in use step. So how is this moved between the asset available and asset in use? By using these 2 other workflows. First of all is one for distributing called receipt confirmation, and the other one for returning the assets called return confirmation. So let's take a look at the configuration of these workflows. So first of all, you have some sort of person responsible for managing assets, and they will assign it to a user. Then in this step, the user has to confirm that they received this item, this asset, or they can refuse it. If they click on confirm, then an action will take place. This action will manipulate the first workflow, the asset lifecycle workflow. Let's take a look at it. In the configuration, we can see that it will move the instance in the asset lifecycle workflow down this assign to recipient path. So we can go to the first workflow to see exactly what it does. And here we can see that from asset available to asset in use, there indeed is an assign to recipient path. So the asset will no longer be available, it will be classified as in use, and we can speculate that it will no longer be available to be assigned to a different user. We can reverse this by using the third workflow, return confirmation, where somebody, either the user using the asset or the asset manager, will request a return of the item. Then the user who is using the item will confirm that they returned it, and here we have a similar action which will move the workflow instance back from the asset in use to the asset available, and it's called return asset. So we can go check it in the first workflow, and indeed in the asset lifecycle workflow there is this return asset path. So the asset in use, the instance that is in the asset in use, will be returned back to asset available, and we can speculate that it will again be available to be assigned to somebody else. So in summary, we have this asset lifecycle workflow where we register a new asset, and then we have these 2 workflows, one for distribution, one for returning, and that those 2 workflows manipulate the workflow instances to move between the asset available and the asset in use. Alright, but that was the back end of this application. Now let's look at what it looks like to end users. So here is the main landing page of the application, the portal page. As we can see here, we have some start buttons, one for registering new asset, one for distributing asset, and one for returning asset. And then administrators of this application will also see the neutral button, which allows you to start any workflow within the application. In our case, we can use it, for example, to add new values to the dictionary process. We also have some sort of dashboard which contains available assets. I've added one as a test, so it is available here, only one. We will add one ourselves in just a moment. And we also have a bunch of reports. So all assets that are in use, currently no assets are in use, and we will, of course, try add a new asset, and we will try assign it to somebody and see how all of this changes. So let's go back to the start page and let's add a new asset. I'm going to fill this out off screen. Alright, so I filled this out. The serial number is called test item, asset type PC and manufacturer Dell. So the asset name will be a combination of all of these called PC Dell test item. So let's make this available. Alright, so in our all assets report, we can see that a new one was added. This one at the top here. This is our test item. And now let's try assign it to somebody. So on the main page of this application on portal, let's click on new receipt form. And now let's find it. As you can see, I have two items, including our newly added test item. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to assign it to myself and the location Krakow. Okay, assign asset to this user. And I got a new task, which is telling me, hey, you have to confirm that you received this asset. And let's say I did. So let's say I confirm it. And done. So now if I go to the all assets report, I will see that this test item, this PC, is currently assigned to me. And in the assets and use report, I can also see this, that it is also assigned to me. And of course, it is also reflected on the dashboard. So I have one asset available, the one that I created before I started recording, and now the PC, the test item. So now for a finish, let's return this asset. So since I am currently logged in as me, I will only see the items that are assigned to me logically. So this test item, and I want to get rid of it for offboarding reasons. Let's send it over to the next step. And now of course I will also have to confirm that I indeed returned this item and where I returned it. So I'm going to type in my location and confirm that I returned this asset. And now this asset will be back on the available assets list. That's it for this video. Even if you don't plan on using this application, I recommend you still get it just to take a look inside. The asset management application features a few cool data sources and an interesting workflow manipulation system. So if you would like to implement something similar in one of your projects, be sure to get this application, dig into it, change things around, add stuff, remove stuff, and hopefully you'll learn something new. Thanks for watching and goodbye.